All right, so you're saying in essence that the way the Enugu state government is generating the internally generated revenue
Yes.
is fundamentally wrong. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that taxing people and taxing businesses within the state
Those are not
shouldn't-
taxes because those are not going to either FIRS, which is the how do you call them? FIRS, and then the
Yeah.
IRS of the
the
state.
IRS.
Yes, those monies are not going to these agencies. Those monies are going to different government ministries or bodies set up by government to collect all this money. So these are not taxes.
But isn't it
I am
something
all
to be
for
encouraged?
growing the state Nigeria because government needs that money to work if they actually put it to work. My problem is that they don't put it to work. A lot of this monies are actually, stolen by corrupt government officials at the end of the day. Okay, but my problem is, where in the world do you hear of daily levies as a means to collect taxes? Structure, if what you're interested in is collecting taxes, structure it in such a way that every business pays tax at the end of a particular date towards the end of the month.
Okay.
Right? So what that means, you have to broaden your tax net and capture everybody that is taxable. So if the tricycle riders are taxable and you've determined that they are taxable, you don't have to extort them every day. It places undue burden on them and their families. Structure it in such a way that you put them on a database and determine what amount of tax they should pay government monthly. That cadre of business people should have a certain percentage they pay as tax on a monthly basis. So at the end of the month, you collect it once. You give them a breather, let them breathe. Allow them to be able to walk all through the month and put that money together, right? So that at the end of the month, they know they owe government, say, 3% or 5% of their income, which the law stipulates that people in that cadre of business pays government a certain percentage. They know that is coming already, and so they work towards it through the 25 or 28 or 31 days they work. And you allow them to do that at the end of the month, every day chasing them around. You won't let them concentrate. I've seen them at main market, at Old Park, different markets, Gariki. You see some touts chasing them around. You have created room for people to extort money from innocent citizens for their own private pockets. Because a lot of these monies that are collected are not retired to government at the end of the day. And even after it is retired to government, all of the money doesn't go into the development of the state. A good chunk of that money is still laundered. Well, maybe not laundered, but I mean still stolen through corrupt practices. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that you say people who are factory workers, you pay on your income tax 25%. I don't know what it is for the state. How many percent people pay on income tax in the state?
Yeah.
That is stipulated. And so before they get their salaries, they're paid through the bank. Before they get their salaries, it's taken straight up through the bank, right?
Okay.
That's a good way. And so every worker knows that a certain percentage of money is deducted from my salary every month through taxes, right? Now, overseas, what they do is group these different people. But also, there are people in society who are not taxable. That's how it's done overseas. There are people, if you make a certain amount, even in Nigeria, in Nigerian law, right? If you make less than 35 million, you're a company, you make less than 35 million, you're not taxable. Do you understand? There are certain cadres that are not taxable. And so those people are exempt from tax because they don't make a lot of money. That's what the Constitution says. And so taxes begin at a certain amount of income, annual income. And so when you look away from that, there's a way it's structured that way. When you look away from that and then you put undue pressure on families that are already struggling. My problem is that there is high inflation. Income has remained stagnant for so many years, but right now it's not even stagnant anymore. It's dwindling. It's taking a nosedive because of inflation, right? People who made, say, tricycle riders who make 30,000 monthly 2 years ago are not making up to that anymore. The reason they're not making up to that anymore is that you have to consider what we call gross national income. We used to check countries that are doing well economically through GDP. You say, what is the GDP of this country? But in recent years, we judge that through the gross national income. And so what that means is that every money paid to every worker in a country put together, determines the gross national income. And so a healthy gross national income says that the citizens of these countries are doing well economically and earning money. So Nigeria's gross national income is very low. very, very low, and has been going down since inflation has gone up the roof. And so Nigerians are really struggling. So if you talk about gross national income, then I want to talk about gross state income. What is the average state income, for the average worker in the state? Okay, they're talking about minimum wage 30,000, and some states are not paying. I don't even know if Enugu State is paying the 30,000 yet. And so, if Enugu State is not paying the 30,000, or whether they're paying or not, it's irrelevant. The point is, the 30,000 as at today is worthless because of inflation. Okay, they could have been able to buy gas 2 years ago with 30,000. Today, they can't buy gas. A lot of products have moved into the luxury list. So gas is one of them, yam is one of them, bread is one of them. Bread has moved into the luxury list. The common man cannot buy bread anymore. Bread is 1,000 something naira. So families are really struggling. So whatever activity by government that puts more pressure on these families is immoral. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, for you to have a right to collect tax or any levy at all, you have to make sure that you've made the states very conducive for people to generate that income. And one of the ways you do that is ensure that every road is functional, no potholes. People should be able to move from point A to point B without worrying about their shocks, being messed up, or their suspenders being messed up. That's one. Two, there has to be running water. Their families depend on running water. And so these families that have very low income are having to pay tankers to supply them water. And so a tanker, a 750 liter of a tank in Enugu is selling for about 10,000 naira right now.
Yeah.
And these families are earning 30,000 naira. How in the world are they going to survive? And at the end of the day, you still come and extort them. And so if they don't have running water, they don't have light, they don't have good roads, they don't have Medicare. Medicare, I mean state-instituted Medicare, where you say that, okay, from this income to this income, you can go to the hospital and get treatment when you're sick, but we take 800 naira from your salary or from your income on a monthly basis. All of these are not instituted. And so if you're not providing this as government, what you should say is that nobody should pay tax in the state, because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so